Hey guys, welcome. Thank you so much for choosing this talk. I want to make sure this is really high impact for you. I want to really change the way that you think about what the sales pipeline is. Clay gave us a great introduction to this today, and I want to really get you fired up for the whole of the Icon. We're going to be talking high level, strategic thinking. I want to get your mindset right, not only for sales pipelines, but also for the whole of Icon as well. So that everything that you're going to learn from here for the next few days, you're going to be able to fit into this type of thinking that I'm sharing with you, because as Clay said, this is really fundamental to everything working, and I want you to leave here really understanding that today. Are we all good? Are we all ready? Whoa, come on. Are we all ready? Yeah, there we go. This is Icon, guys. How exciting is this to be at Icon? Okay, so very brief introduction about me. So my name's James Ashford. I'm author of a book called Selling to Serve. I work specifically with the niche of accountants, but for the last 10 years, I've worked across all different types of businesses, from kind of £1 million turnover businesses to £300 million turnover businesses. And in the last 18 months, totally focused all of that learning down into just accountants. So that's kind of the niche that I impact today. But everything I'm going to be sharing with you in this talk is going to be general pipeline thinking, so it's not going to matter what business you're in, you're all going to really benefit from this one. So this is my book, which I've got here. I've only got a few copies. If you're an accountant, it's going to be relevant. If you're not, if it's not, what you're going to do is you're going to end up leaving here with a bag full of books, and you're going to put them on your bookshelf at home, and you're not going to read them. So if you're an accountant, I've got a few copies for you, so that's cool. So I've also got a piece of software that we've developed called GOPROPOSAL. Again, it's all for accountants and also leading firms. So these are a few companies that I have and that I work in. I'm also a director of an accountancy firm as well. So everything I'm sharing with you here is not theory. This is not just stuff that I implement from into other clients. Everything here, I'm taking my own medicines. Everything that we're doing here, I'm implementing into my businesses as well. So this is not theory. This is stuff that actually works from the front line of Infusionsoft and pipelines. I'm also an Infusionsoft certified partner as well. Okay, so at the end of the session, I don't know if you downloaded the app yet, but you can review all of the sessions. That'd be really valuable and helpful for everybody, so just be mindful of that at the end of the session. So here we go. So I'm just going to start getting your mindset right, not only about this talk, but about everything that you're going to get out of Icon over the next few days. And what I want to turn you all into is treasure hunters. I want you to come to this talk now, and every breakout session and every keynote session and every one that you meet and every interaction, looking for the gold. I want you to try and find the gold in everything that people are sharing with you. There might be one thing today, one thing in this talk, one nugget that's going to move you forward, that's going to make a real difference in your business, that's going to make a difference in your life. If you sat there thinking, when's lunch, or what's the next talk, or whatever, you're not going to be tuned into it. You have to believe that there's something in this talk today that's going to change everything for you. We've all traveled a long way, so I really want you to tune into that and try and see it, because if you tune in for it and you look for it, we're going to find it. Are you ready for this? Okay, cool. So everything that I share with you, I always do the same introduction at every talk, because it's so valuable. But there's always two aspects to us making an improvement in our business. The first one is the map. So we need to have the blueprint for how we go from where we are now to where we want to be. So we need to know where we are, and we need that blueprint, that map, and that's going to take us there. And there's some incredibly knowledgeable people, wonderful world-leading experts, genuinely incredible people here over the next few days that's going to help you with that map, and I'm going to be sharing some things with you about that as well. But it's also fundamentally important that we get the mindset right. Because if your mindset doesn't align with the map, nothing that you learn is ever going to work. We need to get in tune, and we need to believe it's going to help us, it's going to grow our business. And it also might not be your mindset, but there might be the mindset of a member of staff that you've got, or of a business partner, or another director that doesn't quite align with this, and that's going to be a challenge as well. So you need to be mindful of that. It's no good just turning back up with the perfect map to get there if you've not got the mindset right as well. So anything I share with you, I'm going to be challenging both of those aspects. We're working on map and mindset today. And we're going to be going fast. This is the other thing I always share as well that's really valuable. You've got to be aware of the voice, okay? Right now you're listening to two voices. You're listening to my voice talking about this subject, and there's another voice in your head talking to you about what I'm talking to you about. And that voice is the voice that's trying to sabotage everything. It's that voice that's quite happy with where you are now, that's convinced you that you're comfortable and that you shouldn't change. You're not in your comfort zone, you're just in your familiar zone. We want to move out of that and become comfortable by making changes, by taking action in our business, in our lives. The voice in your head is trying to get you to stay where you are. You can hear me at 300 words a minute. The voice in your head's 1,200 words a minute. So that's the one that you've got to really chat. You know the voice. It's not your voice. It's the voice of your parents or of the old business partner or the teacher or TV or whatever. It's not your voice. So we need to challenge that. And there's a few good ways you can challenge it. I'm going to share some things with you today that you're going to already know. And you're going to think, oh, we know this. We don't need to take notes on this. We don't need to think about this. We know it. I want you to challenge the voice and say, just because we know it, are we doing it? It goes back to what Clayton was talking this morning about the 3 things that we need to implement. We all know that, but are we doing it? How many of us have actually done it? So it's really important that we challenge the voice on that. The next one is, just because we're doing it, could we be doing it better? And the final one, just because it's not relevant now, could it be relevant in the future? So this comes back again to us tuning into looking for the gold. So here we go, rethinking the sales pipeline. So this is going to be strategic, high-level thinking, like I say, that you're going to be able to slot other things into. And the way I picture kind of a sales pipeline is that we have a queue of our dream customers stood outside our door wanting to do business with us, for us to be able to open the door as and when our resources allow and say, we're ready to bring in the next person. We're ready for that next client to start working with us, and we can also kick out the ones that we don't like working with as well. So getting to this point changes everything. If you can achieve this in your business, I assure you everything's going to change, and I'm going to make you aware of what some of those changes are. That said, it's not easy. This isn't easy to do. This is going to require commitment from you from now on and forevermore. And I'm going to convince you by the end of this talk this morning that this is where all of your effort and energy actually needs to get to. One of the things that Clay said this morning was about we need to be driving our clients in, we need to be getting more customers in, we need to focus on lead generation and follow-up and everything else. And why don't we do that? One of the reasons we don't do that might be mindset again. We might be slightly fearful is, what if we get all this queue of customers? How do we deal with them? That's the next problem. So if you've got that you've not kind of got the systems or the staff or the resources in place to be able to deal with those customers queuing up, that can be an issue as well. So maybe it's not even an issue of the pipeline or of the lead generation, but there might be other things within the business that you need to be aware of. And this is really key. Sometimes people think that you can deal with parts of your business in isolation. So this could be sales pipeline, this here could be your staff, this here could be how you deliver your service. And what people think is that they can actually work on this in isolation, that I can actually improve my sales pipeline, so I need to move it to here. Let's say that's the change we need to make. However, everything is connected. And sometimes it might not even be an issue with this, it might be an issue with your staff here. And actually by moving that and pulling that way, that it moves this into alignment as well. So we can never think about anything in isolation. Everything always has to be considered as the whole. So let me explain briefly why this is so important. If you have a predictable flow of your dream clients, you can charge more for your services because you're more in demand. You can charge a premium. People are queuing up. Has any of you read Oversubscribed by Daniel Priestley? Anybody? No? Great book to check out. Really good book, really valuable book on how you can become oversubscribed, and he talks about these principles in that as well. But firstly, you can charge more for the services that you provide. Secondly, you can choose to work with better clients. Isn't that great? You can choose the people that you want to work with, who light you up, who you love working with, who you want to impact, who you want to help, who you want your staff to work with. I would never allow my team to work with clients that we don't gel with or we're not a good fit for. I would never allow my team to get grief off clients. I will make it very clear to them, you need to behave or you're out the door, because we only work with people that we love working with. When the phone rings or the email goes, I need to make sure that we're all a team, we're all in this together, and we love working with the right people. So you can choose to work with better clients. You can afford to say no. How good would that be if you can say no to people? You know, the ones you don't really want to work with, but you have to because you're not quite sure where the next person's coming from. If you could just say no, if you could kick out some of the time wasters that you've got, the people that take up all of your time, all of your energy, pay you the least, give you the most grief, you know those people that you'd love to kick out the door. Maybe the reason you can't kick them out the door is because we don't have the queue of people queuing up at the door to bring in and replace them. And so this is what I mean about that there can be other problems that need sorting out, and I assure you the pipeline fixes everything. You'll be able to convert more of your dream prospects because you've got people queuing up. They want to do business with you. They're already sold. They've seen other people queuing up there. They want to come in and start to work with you. And the way I picture this is, it's like a nightclub. You all been to a nightclub or remember what it was like? I can remember just what it was like going to a nightclub, right? So you see, let's say there's 2 or 3 nightclubs in a row, and one of them's got a queue outside and charging an entrance fee and making everyone stand in the rain. That's the one you want to queue up in, isn't it? You want to stand there. And I remember in England, it's cold, right? And you can be stood out there for like an hour waiting to get into these places. They make you wait. And then when you get in, you feel privileged that you've got in, and therefore you're happy to buy everything that they've got in the overpriced bar because you've invested that time, that energy, and that effort to getting in there in the first place. So that's how I picture this. And when they're with you, when they're in there, they will spend more with you for longer. I know there's only a few words in that, 8 words in that. They will spend more with you for longer. Those words in there are so, so valuable. Those words there, if you can get your existing clients to spend more with you for longer, that can change everything. By the way, if you've got your iPhones, steal everything. Anything I've got today, it's yours. Just nick it, photograph it, take everything you want. Take it back and look at it when you get back home. That's cool. I don't mind. You take it. I've probably stolen it from people anyway, so I don't care. You can also anticipate the future and therefore make better decisions. If you've got a predictable flow of clients coming in, so you know when you can choose to bring that next person in, you can make better decisions. You know when you can take that next office on. You know when you can afford to take on that next member of staff, or when you can invest in that development of your service or of your product. It just allows you to sleep at night. If you've got that predictable flow of dream clients coming in, it's going to allow you to sleep. I also need to make something clear as well. Sales pipeline doesn't just apply to new clients. It also applies to existing clients as well. This is where I want you to start rethinking what you think a sales pipeline is. This is not just about bringing existing clients in through the front door to start with, but it's about how do we get them to buy more from us, how do we get them to buy more from us more often, and keep moving them through that process as well. This is really, really valuable. So go back to the nightclub again and think about the nightclub. So you brought people in the front door, they've queued up, they're in now, then what do? They don't just all go and dance, they now queue up at the bar. They're into the next pipeline, they queue up there to buy a drink. And once they've done that, they're in the next pipeline to queue up for the VIP lounge. They're going from one pipeline into the next, into the next. So it's not just this first one that you absolutely need to nail to generate more income, but you need to nail the next ones inside as well. In actual fact, it's probably easier to sort those ones out first because you've already got these clients. They already like you, they already trust you, so it's easier to do that. If you want your minds to be really blown by this, this doesn't even just apply to clients. So for me, whatever business you think you're in, first and foremost, you're in the people business. What you want to do is you want to bring in the right people into your business. You want to bring in the right clients. You need to bring in the right staff. You need the right suppliers. You need the right partners. You need the right affiliates. These are all people. The principles here apply exactly the same across all these sets of people. You can apply a sales pipeline to bringing in clients, but you can just as easily apply it to bringing in staff as well. We've just done this, I'm going to be talking about this later in the accountancy talk this evening, but we've just done this where our last member of staff that we recruited cost us £5,000 to buy in for a recruitment company. We've implemented using Infusionsoft a sales process using Facebook ads and videos, driving prospects to a lead page where they have to download our top 10 interview questions or something like that. They then go into a sales funnel effectively. They have to send us a 60-second video of themselves saying why they'd like to work with us, and then we bring them into an interview. This one thing here has changed our business so that the second but one member of staff costs us £5,000. The last member of staff costs £113 to buy in. Infusionsoft can solve all problems in your business. Infusionsoft isn't just a marketing tool. Infusionsoft is a business automation tool. If you just think of Infusionsoft as a marketing tool, what you're going to end up with is an expensive version of MailChimp because you're going to be using it to ping out emails. Infusionsoft can solve all sorts of problems in your business with the same logic. This is what I mean about wanting to open you up today and just to see what's possible and how you can get tremendous value from this powerful tool. There is nothing out there that gives small businesses the power like Infusionsoft does. What it's got underneath the bonnet is just so powerful, it can really drive your business forward. I'm really passionate about it, and I'm passionate about it not because I care about Infusionsoft. I'm not passionate about Infusionsoft. I'm passionate about what it can do. I'm passionate about what it can do for businesses and for the people that work for those businesses as well. That's what the really exciting thing is when you can see the impact and the difference it's making in real people's lives. Infusionsoft's just technology. Amazing technology, but just tech. But it's how you use it is where the real power comes from. Okay, so, question. Why are we in business? Why are any of us in business? Say again?
Change the world.
To change the world, that's great, that's beautiful, lovely. Anything else? There's no wrong answer to this, by the way. Make a profit, that's cool. To support your family, wonderful, yeah, that's great. So, we're in business to have the life that we want. It's great that we want to change the world, that's beautiful, that's really good, and we can do all these things, but really we're in business to have the life that we want. And so like my business goals were to be able to, one of the things that made me really start to systemize everything a few years ago was my little boy Leo was starting to go to primary school, and one of my goals was to be able to take him to and from school every day. And then I have my little girl who was going to be following a year later. That was my business goal, that was really important to me. That drove all my business decisions that year. That's when I got to the point where I could do that, and then it was to be able to take both my kids to and from school every day, and then my next goal is to be able to have all the holidays with them as well. And so that's what drives me to make my business decisions. So it's to have the life that we want. But we can only have the life that we want if we make money. This might seem really cold, you might not like this, you might not gel with this, but this is just the reality. If you want to have the life that you want, you need money to do that. Yeah, you can be philanthropic with the money, you can help people, you can do all this stuff, that's cool, that's fine, that's lovely, and that's all part of it as well. Tithing and everything, I'm down with all that stuff. But fundamentally, we need money to have the life that we want. And there's only two ways, there's only two things that you can do in your business to get more money, which is get more clients or give more value to the clients that you've got. That's all you can do. They're the only two things that can make more money. You take pictures, but I've got a better picture coming up. You'll see by the end of it. If you want to get more clients, there's only two things you can do to get more clients, which is get more leads and convert more of those leads into customers. And there's only two things you can do to give more value to the clients that you've got, which is sell more to them and sell more often. That's it. That's it. There's only four things you can do to grow your business. There's only four things you can do to make money. I know we've got some accountants in the room and they'll be saying, yeah, but we can reduce our overheads and improve our profit margins. Absolutely, we can do that, but that just allows us to grow more profitably. These are the things that actually allow us to grow and make money. So, this is the point I try and get all of my clients to and everyone I'm working with. If you've got 5 days in a week, we should be spending Monday on getting more leads, Tuesday on how we convert more, Wednesday on selling more to them, Thursday on selling more often, and Friday dealing with the rest of the crap. Because the rest of the stuff doesn't make you money, it costs you money, the rest of the stuff. Yet I imagine that's where the majority of us are spending our time. Now, this is easy for me to stand up here and share this theory with you and say, this is what you should be doing. You're like, yeah, but I've just got a stack of stuff to deal with. I appreciate that, I get that. Like I said, this is not a magic wand. This is something for us to be working towards. And I'm not fully there yet with this personally in my business, because we've started a new business recently, and that's taken up a lot of my time to systemize and to get going. But I have got clients that are at this point, and we're getting close to it. So that's where we need to be. And all of those are impacted by the pipeline. This is why the sales pipeline is so fundamentally important to your business. But all that rests on the systems that you have, the people that you have running those systems, and your mindset and the mindset of your team. That's the full model there. That's everything. I have to break things down like this into things that are simple. I only understand things once I can get it really simple. Anyone want to photograph that? Have you got that? Get it? I'm going to take it off. Okay, cool. So let me start explaining how the sales pipeline looks and how it works. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to take a customer. Have I got lasers? Woo! We're trying to take a potential customer over here into becoming a paying customer. I use the word customer and client, and I interchange them both. For me, a customer is when we get someone to buy something from us once. That's a customer. They've bought from us. Then our goal is to then convert them into a client where we're focused on maximizing their lifetime value and helping them and nurturing that relationship, etc. So we need to turn them into a paying customer. So what most people do is they try and get them across this chasm here, and they lose so many customers. They burn through so much cash, time, effort, and energy, and lose so many prospects in here because they don't have the pipeline in place. And then if they're lucky enough to get them over to the other side, what happens is they end up becoming a wasted customer because they then don't maximize the lifetime value of that client instead. So what we need to do in order to move somebody over is to construct this sales pipeline. But this is how it looks in reality. This is what we're trying to move people through. I'm not going to go into great detail about each step here. We're not going to have time for this, and there's other people that are going to be going into this. You can read about this, etc. And then you're going to think, I know all this stuff. I know you know it, but are you doing it? It starts by defining who you want to get in the first place. You've heard this a million times, right? But have you clearly defined who your dream client is? I have one person. He's called Paul. I know him. He's actually a real person. And everything I do, every email I write, every video I send, I do for him. And in my mind, I can hear him listening to my videos. If you've seen any of my videos, my old ones aren't very good, but my new ones in the last kind of 12, 24 months, I think come across really quite authentically. They look like I'm actually having a conversation with you. And it's only because I'm talking to Paul in my head. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Paul because I know Paul. I can have a conversation with Paul. When you don't know who your dream customer is, everything you do is just generic and weak. And no, it's not ever going to connect with anybody. So this is really important. We then need to know how to attract these people. We need to capture them, capture their details, which is the lead magnets that Clayton was talking about before. We need to connect with them on a deep, meaningful level, and we need to convert them into a paying customer. By paying customer, I mean somebody who has taken cash out of their pocket and handed it over to you. That's an amazing change to make. If you can, it transforms the dynamic of the relationship. The moment that somebody takes cash out of their pocket and gives it to you, now they're a customer. They're a very different person at that point. And then finally, the final part of the pipeline that I was talking to you about is where we upgrade them to buy more off us, we maximize the lifetime value, and we get them to promote us. We get them to pass us referrals and to be an ambassador for our firm, for our company, for our company. So that for me is the full pipeline that we're trying to implement into your business. Is that cool? Have you got that? Have you captured that? Okay. This is a great quote from a wonderful guy called Paul Goff, who's just the most incredible marketer I work very closely with. Marketing is helping people to take the next step towards buying from you or buying more from you. Marketing is helping people to take the next step to buying more from you or buying more from you. It's just getting them to take the next step. That's all we're ever trying to do. And with Infusionsoft, we can just be moving these people through. We can just be moving these people over. Okay, so how do you start? How do you start with this? And this is the challenge. This is, if anything's going to trip you up, when you leave here, it's going to be the fact that you won't necessarily start to do something. And this is when I come back to mindset, where I really want to change your thinking about, because over the next 3 days, you're going to learn so much amazing stuff, and you're going to be so excited. And you're going to be tweeting and Facebooking, and you're going to be filling your book with notes, and you're going to have goodie bags with t-shirts in and cups and presents for your family back home. You're going to be so excited about all these things you are going to do. And then what happens is, next week happens, and you've got that list of emails that you have to deal with, them clients that are taking up all of your time, that member of staff who's gone sick, all the stuff of everyday life that's a cost, that's not making you any cash, will start to suck your time away and your effort and energy away, and nothing's going to change. What you really need to do is become very disciplined about what's the 1, 2, or 3 things tops that you are going to take away from here and that you're going to actually implement. If you're able to now, what I always do at an event like this is I block out the following week so that I can actually implement. I have an implementation week when I get back so I can actually do something with things. Taking ideas away from this, taking learning, taking lessons will change nothing in your business. Nothing will change. Taking action Doing stuff with what you've learned is the only way you're going to make a difference. And I know for a fact there's people come to here every year and they go to other events as well and they love it. They love the buzz of meeting everyone and getting all these new ideas and getting all pumped up, and then they go back and nothing changes. And that's really sad, because there's some incredible, amazing people here today, amazing ideas that you can take and that you can actually implement. So I'd really encourage you to be very disciplined and do that. And one of the ways to do that, if you want to really make this work, is you take action while you're here. You build momentum while you're in this mindset, because it's just amazing, isn't it? It's not only what you learn, but it's just around other people. Everyone here just wants to move things forward. Everyone here wants to better themselves. Yet you go back home, you start talking to your family or your friends, and they're like, do you know what I mean? Not all your family and all your friends, but some of, you know the ones I mean, you know. So it's great to take action while you're here. So how do you start? You don't wait for perfection. You do it and fix it as you go. You just get on with it. You make a start. You've got to be prepared for anything that you do to be poor quality. You've got to be prepared for it to be average. You've got to be prepared for it to not work. Because if you're not prepared for that, you're not prepared for the great stuff at the other side of it. If you're waiting for everything to be perfect, for it to be good or even to be great, you will never make a start. You'll never get there. We've just got to start with what we've got, and we've got to get going. This guy, Paul Arden, he was the, I forget what he was, creative director for Saatchi & Saatchi, the advertising agency in the UK. He's dead now, unfortunately, but incredibly great guy. If you Google him, there's a really good book on Amazon. It's not how good you are, it's how great you want to be, or something like that. Really, really good book, very valuable. So what I actually want to do is just kind of give you a quick action step of what a pipeline that we set up recently. So this is for the accounting firm that I'm a director of. We've got a lead magnet that we've got on our webpage and wanted to start driving sales into it. So last week, I went and filmed Paul. We spent 3 hours together. I filmed him doing this, which I'm in Manchester now when I'm talking about this. I'm in Manchester and I live in Yorkshire, which is where God's from, at the other side of the Pennines, okay? Yorkshire, you know it. So I'm in Manchester when I filmed this stuff. So I filmed Paul for the videos that I'm going to show you here. I got on a train back to Yorkshire, and by the time I got back, all the videos were filmed, they were edited and done, ready to go live, okay? So we filmed the video, and by the time I got back, I pushed the adverts live into Facebook using these videos. So this advert here on Facebook, that video didn't exist 3-4 hours before that Facebook ad went live. So we filmed it, we've edited it, we've pushed the advert live. We've then driven people back to a lead magnet page with a video on there. I use videos for everything, by the way. If videos aren't one of the main things in all of your content that you produce, then you're missing out on a massive trick, and no one's got an excuse not to do it because you've all got a HD camera in your pocket, so you've got no excuses. Driving them back to here where we've got a profit maximizer tool that we're sending people back to. Then if they fill that out, it said, where do you want us to send the report to? They then entered into an Infusionsoft campaign that then moved them through the process depending on what they'd done before. Any Infusionsoft campaigns you see have been inspired by 6th Division. They're an incredible company. Really go and check these guys out if you want to get your systems and your Infusionsoft processes sorted out. Amazing guys. So it puts it into this system here, and then it gets a bit more complex, but we're going to send a sequence of emails out. Then we're going to actually send them a report as one of those emails with the Profit Maximizer tool. And then if they like the Profit Maximizer tool and they've been nurtured, they're going to want to arrange a discovery call with us. We send them back to this page for a discovery call where they watch another video explaining what a discovery call is all about. Then they enter into another Infusionsoft process. And that's what we all set up in one day. The Infusionsoft system, the second one was already there. But all of the other part happened in one day. From the moment of filming, to building Infusionsoft campaigns, to pushing the Facebook advert live and to get it going. Yeah? Did it work? Did it work? No, didn't work. We launched it that night and it kind of bombed. We didn't get enough people clicking the Facebook ad. We didn't get enough people through. The people that did were costing us a lot of money, and when they got there, no one was signing up for it. But it's not a problem, because I'm prepared for that stage, because I know what stage comes next. And the first thing you've got to do is just build a pipeline. If I wanted to get some water from here over to this side of the stage, we had to do it fast. I just construct a pipe using anything that we've got. I'd make things and put things in place, and we just get water coming, and all I need it to do is just to drip. I just need one drip to come to over this end. We can always then improve it and fix the leaks and everything else, but we've got to build it. We've got to be prepared to build it first. So then what we did is we got a Facebook expert, a guy that I work with very closely to look at our ads, and he tweaked and tightened the Facebook audience that we were doing. And we've got those in place. I'm getting away from a Facebook guy at the back. How you doing? Tell me what your company's called again. What's your company called again? Company. Yeah, okay, cool. So we're getting the Facebook, so we've got to get the Facebook ads right, okay? So we tweaked the Facebook ads. We massively improved our audience, and we got loads of people clicking now. So we've got hundreds of people now going through to the webpage. No one was signing up. So we fixed the first part of the leak. Now what's wrong? What's happening here? So we looked at the message. We got speaking to some people. We had the message slightly out on the page. The video was slightly off, and so we just edited it slightly, but we got it working. And then so we adjusted these two things, and then all of a sudden we got our first inquiry come through, and that was the first drip of the pipeline coming through, and that's all I need to get to. All I need to get to is that point, because then we can start improving things. We need to build the pipework first and seal the cracks. That's the first stage of anything that you're doing. Build the pipework, seal the cracks. You don't have to get technical. We don't have to be doing split testing, and if this person was this age and has clicked these 3 things before, then this is going to happen to that person. That's all cool, that's all really nice, but we can do that further down the line. All we need to do to start with is build the pipework and seal the cracks. And there's only 3 improvements you can make. We've either got the audience is wrong, the message is wrong, or the offer is wrong. That's it. They're the only 3 things that we're trying to tweak. So once we've got it in place, we can then come back and tweak the audience, we can tweak the message, we can tweak the offer at the other end. And we're constantly doing that. We're constantly refining that and making it work. But we can all do those things very, very quickly to start with. Is this useful, guys? Is this good? Yeah? I'm not finished yet. Save the applause. Yeah, okay. Let's go. Thank you. No, thank you. Thank you. But no, this is it. This is what I want you to take from this. This idea of building momentum, of just going for it, of not being worried about it, whether it's working or not. As long as we're using fundamental principles, we will get there. Okay. So we're just going to run through now 9 steps for a powerful pipeline. Then if we have time, we'll do some Q&A as well, if that's useful as well. Then be hanging around, go for some lunch, whatever you want. Not all of us together, but if some of you wanted to, that's fine. Okay. Step 1, give it all away. Be prepared to give it all away. Give all of your knowledge away. You can write blogs, you can write emails, you can generate videos. Don't be afraid to give your content away, because information has no value in the world anymore. Google has put pay to that. So don't think that you're sat on some wonderful wisdom, bit of knowledge that you can't share because no one else can ever figure this out. If I don't get the knowledge from you, I'm going to get it from somebody else. So don't be afraid to share what you have. And my thinking is, whenever I do anything like this, is I'm genuinely trying to impact people. I'm not here today thinking, right, I've got to talk about the sales. So this is me giving it away and sharing content. I'm not thinking, right, I'm going to give 80% of it away, but the real stuff I'm going to hold back. My goal is I want to genuinely impact your lives and your businesses right now today. I may only have this hour interaction with you in our entire lives. I may never speak to you again. You may never hear from me again. I want to make sure this is going to be valuable for you and that you're going to do something with it. In my book, Selling to Serve, which is the sales process that we use in the accountancy firm, how we take someone from a discovery call right the way through to signing them up and charging way higher fees than most other accountants are charging. When I wrote that book, I didn't think, I don't want to give that bit away, or I best not do this, or I'm trying to sell this on the back of it. I'm just going to give you it. I'm just going to give it all. Yes, I've got things to sell afterwards. Yes, there's always somewhere else to go. We need to make money. We need to have the life that we want, etc. But in terms of content and knowledge, just share it. Give it away. And if you're in any doubt about this, just look at celebrity chefs. Look at Gordon Ramsay, or look at Jamie Oliver. Do you have Jamie Oliver here? We have Jamie Oliver in the UK. Just look at these celebrity chefs. They give you all the recipes to cook their food. They go on telly showing you how to do it. You can go on their YouTube channel, but they still have multi-million-pound restaurant businesses. No one's going to set up a restaurant next door to them and put them out of business by them sharing it. There's not a lot of value in knowledge. There's value in doing stuff. That's where you make the money. You help the clients with the knowledge, but the reality is they're not going to do much with it anyway, realistically. And therefore, where you can really bring the value is to say, hey, look, let me now help you to do this. And by giving it away, you actually, you prove that. I'll give you an example of this as well. A few years ago, we had a locksmith. And one of the things he repairs was UPVC door locks. And I said, do a video showing people how to repair a UPVC door lock. He's like, that's crazy. That's what I do. That's my job. I know, just do it. Just do a video. He had hundreds of thousands of views on this video. And the reality is if somebody watches that video and thinks, I can now go repair my own lock, they were never his client in the first place because they've got time and they don't have any cash. But other people are going to watch that and thinking, this is the guy I need to fix my locks, and they're going to go and get him to come out. So don't be afraid of giving it away. The next one, tell them why they need to leave Chicago first. I don't mean to offend anybody from Chicago. I don't know anything about Chicago. My only knowledge of Chicago is watching the Blues Brothers about 50 times as a kid. Right, okay. That's the extent of my Chicago knowledge. So I apologize if I'm going to offend anybody with what I'm about to share. This is just a story, okay? So don't take it personally. So, let's say this is a pipeline that we're constructing here. So this is where we want to get people to. And this is where we've got people starting from. So we're going to get them here, and we're trying to get them all the way over to here. And you've done everything I've told you to do. You've constructed the pipeline, you've got it all in place, it all looks great, you're sharing content, you're doing ads, and you're trying to move them along, and no one's moving. And you think, what's wrong? I'm telling everyone how amazing this place is. This is brilliant. When you get here, I can really benefit you. We've got testimonials and high-level content. I'm giving my best stuff away, and they're still stuck here. What's the problem? And it's because you've not told them why they need to leave here in the first place. And so the story I was told about this was the mayor of Oklahoma was trying to get businesses to rehouse in Oklahoma. If I get my geography wrong, you have to apologize. I apologize. So he was trying to get people over. So he did all these campaigns showing how amazing Oklahoma was. Tax benefits, they've got a better education system, I don't know, nicer places to house, cheaper rent, I don't know, all this stuff, okay? Nobody came. Nobody responded. He was frustrated thinking, well, I'm telling people how amazing this is, and this is how a lot of you might feel here, that you're the best kept secret. If people just knew about you, and you're telling them how amazing you are, but still no one's coming over. Then what they did was they did another series of adverts showing people why Chicago was a bad place to have a business. So they did about how you got higher tax and why the crime rates increased or whatever the problems were to make people question this in the first place. I'll try and do all my talk smiling now while the cameraman's here. Okay, I can do that. So they had to be told why Chicago was bad first. They needed to understand that and understand the problem of what's going on first. Once the people had accepted that, now they're receptive. Now they're open to understanding that maybe let's have a look for somewhere else and maybe Oklahoma's the solution. Recently with GOPROPOSAL, with my software for accountants, we'd got our ads in and things weren't quite clicking, and when we looked at it, it's because we weren't telling people the problems that they currently have with their existing system. This is a really neat little sequence I put in place. A nurture sequence. Why you need to leave Chicago first. The next one is why you need to come to Oklahoma, and then the third one is meet us in Michigan, halfway, okay? So although now you know why you need to leave here, and I'm trying to get you to here, I'm just going to sell you something about here to start with to move you along that process. Does that make sense? So in terms of how does this work? So this is like, if you've listened to Ryan Dicey's stuff, that's like your tripwire. That's trying to get you to move over to this point. But that's a really nice nurture sequence that I drop in for clients as well with long-term nurturing content. Go on, sorry. You photograph that. We'll wait for you. Go on, pal, it's cool. Yeah? We're here for you. Yeah. Okay. The next one, play the long game. Guys. You've got to play the long game. We need to be prepared to dig in with this for years if need be. At least 12 months, 24 months, even longer than that. Because one of the mistakes that happens with pipelines is they're too short. So you've done all of this stuff to start with, you've done all of your adverts, all of your nurturing, and they're coming over, and then because you didn't build the pipe work long enough, they drop off around here. Clay talked about this, you saw the numbers this morning. This is where you lose clients and where you lose prospects. Two brilliant stories to prove this. I had a client a few years ago, they had a £13 million turnover business. And they'd been after this client for 10 years. 10 years, using old school nurturing methods, picking up the phone, meeting people, taking them out for meals and to events and things. Can you imagine that? Not having it automated. Old school nurturing. And they stuck in this relationship for 10 years. You might think, well, who would do that for 10 years? They had a £13 million turnover business. They finally landed the client that was worth £5 million a year to them. Over the following 12 months, they turned that £5 million a year contract by opening up their network and their supply chain, they turned it into a £10 million contract. And in that 2 years, they also increased their other business as well. So they took took 10 years to get to 13 million. Then over the space of the next 2 years, they got to 24 million pound turnover and they sold the business. Because it was as profitable as it was going to be, because the contracts were locked in for the longest period at that time, and both the owners became millionaires on the back of it. So if you're in any doubt as to why you should have long-term nurture processes in place and how long you should go, the answer is forever, until they die. We can constantly keep investing in, and I don't mean pestering them. I don't mean ringing up saying, are you ready to do business? Are you ready to do business? I mean constantly investing in them, nurturing the relationship, helping them to take that next step and move them forward. The other one is, we signed up in my accounting place, we signed up a client a couple of weeks ago, and we've been nurturing them for 12 months. They'd come to us, they'd had a proposal, they'd not signed it. Now, an accountancy firm, how long will they follow up for? Typically afterwards, a few weeks, a few months, if that. We stuck in with this for a year, but we're prepared to keep going. We're not going to stop. They finally signed up for us, and they're a £1,500 a month client. In the UK, I don't know what the average fee is, but maybe £200 a month. There's a lot of accounting firms that have £100 a month clients. This is a £1,500 a month client because we dug in for a year. It really works. You really need to put these processes in place. Provide proof that it works with proper testimonials. You know, I said you're going to find little bits of gold throughout the thing, and this, you're going to be like, have a treasure chest coming out of this talk today, yeah? Are we having that? Okay. This is a bit of gold I'm going to give you now, so tune into this one. Testimonials are awesome, but they're rarely used properly. So what happens is, you look on your website, you have all these testimonials that say, oh, they're a lovely company to work with, I would highly recommend them, and all this stuff, okay, all that usual stuff. It's rubbish. It doesn't not do anything. What's the purpose? What are you trying to use it for? Anything, if you have it in isolation in your business, so you have a testimonial over here, it's just a tactic. And tactics don't really work. Tactics are expensive, they're not very good, you don't get a good return on them. What we need to do is turn those tactics into something and use them as part of an overall strategy. Strategy is where you win, tactical thinking doesn't really win. And so you need to think why you would use a testimonial. And what we're trying to use a testimonial for is to move somebody along the pipeline. Once you know this now makes everything else that you do far more valuable, because the testimonial now has a reason. So let me explain the reason, okay? So you have someone, this is where we get dangerous. I can do this. I don't know if you're insured for this. So you have someone here in your pipeline, okay? And I want to move this person from here over to, over to this point here in the pipeline. Make sense? The very best way I could do that, one of the most powerful things I could do, would be to go and get an existing client and to bring them over here and say, hey, existing clients, can you just tell this prospect why it's so amazing, why they should take this next step? Can you do that for me? Wouldn't that be great? That would really help them to move over, yeah? But they're not going to do that. The next best way to do that is with a testimonial. Because what a testimonial is me essentially getting this client here to talk to this client at this point in the pipeline. So if you ask this person here these questions, if you say, how have we impacted your business? Or how have we impacted your life? How is your life different since we've now started working with you? Here's the next kicker question. What reservations did you have before you signed up for us? What was holding you back? Why did you nearly not join us? Why did you nearly not sign up? Here's the big kicker question. What would you say to someone else who also has those reservations? So this person is perhaps stuck here because they have an objection, because maybe let's say you're too expensive, okay? So this person thinks you're too expensive. So if you go to this person here and say, what were your reservations? Well, I loved everything, but you were just too expensive. Okay. What would you say to someone who also has that same reservation, who is not our client yet? Lovely phrase. Who's not our client yet? Well, I'd say to that person, listen, before I signed up, I was really hesitant because it was 3 times more than we were paying before, but within 30 days of me signing up, the revenue was just through the roof. It completely paid for itself. I was just only frustrated that I'd not done it sooner. And so if you're in that position, if you're thinking that, just dive in. You'll never find a better company to work with. Just go for it. That would be an awesome testimonial that I can use at a strategic point to move this person over. Does that make sense? Is that valuable? Is that useful? So 3 great questions. How have you benefited your life? What reservations did you have about signing up for us in the first place? And what would you say to someone else with those same reservations who's not signed up for us yet? So this is using these things strategically. This one here, I learned this from the most wonderful pastor in the UK, a guy called Paul Scanlon, an incredible guy, and he taught me this one, and how he reaches out to his congregation, and just an amazing guy. And he's got a sales background. The best pastors were always salespeople in the background. So he's a great guy. And he talked to me about capture mode. And what he says we have to be is always tuned in to capturing great content. With every conversation that this is how you write the most compelling copy, how you produce the best emails, the best subject titles, the best blog titles, the best video titles, everything. How you do it, you get it from your clients. Your clients have all the answers. Your clients are giving it to you all the time. Every conversation you have, they're sharing amazing content with you. They're sharing amazing words, and they're saying what you need to use. But what happens is, they'll give you some content, or they'll tell you about a challenge that they've got. So you've got a client, they ring you up with a problem. Let me put this in context. I had an accountant ring me up the other week, and I was about to go into Costa Coffee, and he said, James, we've got an issue with people price shopping. They're ringing us up, asking how much things are, and then they're putting the phone down. How do we solve it? I said, oh, well, you could try this. He said, oh, we've tried that. I said, well, this is another option. He said, oh, we've tried that as well. I said, okay, let me think. I said, okay, let me give you an example of where we've used this before. So I gave him this idea, and he was like, that's brilliant. Okay. He has now just given me my next piece of content to be writing to attract more clients like him. He's just told me the title of it. So before I went into Costa Coffee, I took my phone out of my pocket, put it on the steering wheel, pressed record, and said, hey, I've just had a client ring me up and say, how do you deal with price shoppers? So that's now the title of my blog article. How do you deal with price shoppers? That's the title of my next email in the sequence. How do you deal with price shoppers? It's the title of the video. It's the title of my LinkedIn article. He's just given me it. There's no point in him saying to me, how do you deal with price shoppers? And then I go away and try to be really cool and think, how do you handle objections when someone calls you up? Who's saying that? No one's saying that. They're saying, how do you deal with price shoppers? That's the phrase he's got. I used to have, when I was selling Infusionsoft before, we'll systemize and automate your business. And then I had a guy say to me, I just need to control the chaos, man. So now, that's the title of the email. I need to control the chaos, man, because that's a real person saying it. And so we don't want to interpret it. Your clients all the time are generating content for you. You just have to tune into looking for it. Every conversation you have with existing clients, they're generating amazing content all the time. And there's no excuse has anyone got in this room for not coming off a call, pressing record on a video, recording that video, pinging that video to YouTube as I walked into Costa Coffee, sending the video to rev.com to get someone to transcribe the video for $1 a minute of video content for you, to get someone on fiverr.com to jazz the video up or whatever, and then you can use the content to write the blog article. No one's got an excuse not to do that. Great idea, that one. I love this quote again. It came from Paul Goff last week, but he was saying to me, I said, what words of wisdom can I take to Icon to help everyone there about producing content? There's only two reasons why we produce content and share it in the pipeline. It's to change their belief about you, or to change their belief about what's possible for themselves. I just think that's beautiful. If you need a reason for or the final part is to sell something. I've missed that bit off, but it's or to sell something. But this is why we generate content. To change their belief about you, or to change their belief about what's possible for themselves. This is what I'm trying to do with you here today, guys. Change your belief about what's possible for you. The next one is, this gold. More gold. The ultimate secret weapon in all of this, in all of the Infusionsoft automation and emails and triggering off Facebook ads and all this stuff, the ultimate weapon that people don't use is just the phone. Just pick the phone up and talk to people. It's the most powerful thing that you have. I'll be on Twitter with someone and we'll start a message and I'll tweet them and say, hey, have you got 5 minutes now? I'm just jumping in the car, we can have a quick chat if you want. Or I'll be engaging on LinkedIn and say, hey, just want to have a quick call now? We can have a chat now. It's the most powerful thing that you can do. Just talk to real people. It's the most exciting thing. And just to pick the phone up and say, hey, how can we help? How can I help you? Tell me what's going on. How can I help you? I had it this week. This was beautiful, this. Somebody had been referred to my proposal software and an accountant, and he went on it and he looked at it and he sent me an email through and said, I've been referred to you, I looked at it, I loved it, it's really cool, I like the technology. I just can't see the value for the cost. We've got some systems in place at the moment, they're a little bit cheaper than yours. Unless I'm missing something, I can't see the value. Straight away, my ego flared up. I'm like, can't see the value in this. It's amazing. What are you talking about? And then when I kind of let my ego have its peace, have its moment, I just let it calm down. I didn't reply to the email. I let it calm down. I emailed the guy and I said, thank you so much for sharing that with me. I'm so grateful for you sharing that. And it's not that you've not been able to see the value. I apologize for me not being able to communicate the value with you. I'm going to give you a call in the next couple of minutes. He had his number on the email. I'd just love to talk to you just to find out a little bit more because I'm just really grateful for sharing this with me. So I got on the phone with the guy, had a really good chat with him, and we went through, and I went through all my best things, and yeah, but it does this, and yeah, okay, and we can do, and I did with all my objection handling. Got to the end of the call, and it was like, look, I just don't think we're a right fit, and I kind of was about to concede. And I'm walking around the garden, and I'm like, okay, no worries. And then I just remembered something that I'd not thought about for a while, about this proposal software. And I said, oh, by the way, it integrates with Infusionsoft and all the other key systems that you need to run your accountancy firm. He was like, oh, just tell me about that again. So when I started talking about this, he was like, now I'm interested. And I thought, it's taken me 40 minutes on this call to find the thing that I was missing. But I tell you what was so beautiful about this call is that was a leak. That was a leak in my pipeline where I've been sending people back to my page and I've not been communicating that value clearly enough. And so there was a leak there. I just wasn't aware of it because nobody had shared with me what the issue was. As soon as that guy was generous enough to share with me that leak, as much as we don't like to hear that something's wrong or that we've not got something right, just pick up the phone and find out what the issue is. Now, I will have that patched up within a week. That will be patched up. And so we're always looking for how we can just, I know that's slightly off topic, but the point is get on the phone. It's amazing. No one dare do it. No one dare do it. You want everything to be automated, and that's beautiful, and just money flow in. That's lovely. The reality is you've got to work for it. You've got to be prepared to pick up the phone and make the call and just say, hey, how can I help you? Then a couple more points, guys. Once we've got this going, we've just got to keep filling the pipe. Once we've got the pipe working and we've got the systems in place, we've patched the leaks up, we've got customers trickling through, we then need to divert our attentions to filling that pipeline. Facebook ads, one of the best. If you're not investing in Facebook ads, you really need to. It's the most incredible way to be targeted with what you're doing. It's one of the cheapest way to attract clients. I don't care what business you're in, there's always a way that you can figure out how that can be done. Really, really powerful stuff. It can be used in conjunction with Infusionsoft. If you've not got plus this, you can use plus this and Infusionsoft to trigger off Facebook ads for people in your pipeline. So as they're moving through your pipeline, they're getting emails, and at the same time you've triggered off a Facebook ad that's saying book the call, book the call. It's the same message that they're getting from the emails and the Facebook ads at the same time. Mega, mega powerful. If you've not got plus this, you need plus this on your Infusionsoft app. It will just supercharge everything. Facebook, YouTube videos, LinkedIn, podcasts, affiliates, referrals, writing books. Set yourself a goal to write a book. I set my goal to write that last year. I got it done. I got it out there. I set myself a week to write it. 1 week to get it finished and done and out the door and published. And you can all do that on Amazon. You've all got that power within you. Speaking, events like this, live webinars, all these things we need to be constantly investing in to move people through the pipeline. And the final thing I want to leave you with, guys, is stop being selfish and start being embarrassed. Stop being selfish and start being embarrassed. And I don't mean that to be confrontational. It's what somebody said to me. He said to me, he says, James, why aren't you getting out there and sharing all this stuff? Why aren't you going and giving talks? Why aren't you doing videos? And I gave all these BS excuses, right? And he says, why are you being so selfish? He said, this knowledge wasn't given to you to keep. It was given to you to share, to help other people. Give it all away. Just going out, yeah, but I've not quite got my hair right. I don't care what your hair looks like. Yeah, but I've not got the right camera setting. I don't care. Get your phone out your pocket. Just get it done. Get it pinged out there. One of the best videos I did that I got great impact from, I just come out the gym and I was in a DIY shop car park and I just filmed this video that I was so passionate about because I've been thinking about it while I was at the gym, and I just shared this content. So stop being selfish. Start being embarrassed. If you're not comfortable with being embarrassed, you will not move things forward at the pace you need to be moving at. I learned this from Brad Martineau. Brad Martineau, incredible guy. And he said, if when you launch something, that video, that email sequence, that whatever, if you're not slightly embarrassed, you've spent too long doing it. So you've got to get comfortable with being embarrassed. I don't even care about typos. I don't care about mistakes. There's a way to do it. when I used to launch websites and get people to do websites, I used to put a crate of champagne on the front of the website saying, hey everyone, we've just launched our new website. Whoever spots the most mistakes in the website wins this crate of champagne. I've just turned hundreds of people now into proofreaders for me for the cost of 125 quid, and I've just called it out there. Just keep it real. Just get on it, be honest with it, and just be authentic and just get it out there and crack on. Guys, I've overrun my time. I've got people looking at me and waving and sticking thumbs up and various other things up at me, so we need to stop. Guys, just give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you so much for coming. That's great. Thank you, guys. Cheers.